Hello guys, welcome to Solving Solutions, your number one channel where you get solutions to all your solving problems. It's nice having you in class again today. How have you been? We are going to show you how you can download satellite imagery of your preferred location, right? Or let's say of your location of choice, can be your project area or something else. There are different repositories where you can download satellite images. However, on today's video, we are going to use this USGS Earth Explorer site as our resource, right? Good. So you can just go straight to what earthexplorer.usgs.gov, right? Good. Then another very important thing is for you to create an account, which is actually very important, and then you are good to go. Now the site is actually user friendly, and then we've used it for our digital elevation model, or we've used it to download the digital elevation model on this channel. So the link to that video will be on the description section. So there are different ways you can actually locate your project area. Is by one of the ways is just to navigate through the map, or let's say navigate on the map to your location of to your choice location, right? Good. Or you can actually bring in a KML file or a shapefile, or you can use a geocoder. However, I would actually use a shapefile on today's video. You can bring in a KML file or a shapefile that will help you define what your area of interest. So we are still trying to zoom in to our area of interest to see if we can use the, should I call it, conventional method to actually get the area of interest, right? Alright, so we are trying to get an imagery of a location in River State, right? Good. So you can just navigate to River State and check out for the particular maybe location by either local government or area. Then you start clicking on the screen to actually define some to actually bring out some coordinates that would help you locate your project area, right? Good. So upon doing this, you can still adjust and get a final area. However, we are not going to do this. What we are going to do is that we are going to bring in a shapefile that actually defines or covers that project area. So we prefer using that because it actually gives us a better perspective of what we want, right? Good. So instead of using just clicking on the screen to define our area of interest, under the enter search criteria, we go to what KML slash shapefile update. Then we see from or we select what shapefiles, and then we select shapefiles, right? Good. So we are working on a folder called download imagery, and then on the folder we have the shapefile of our choice location, right? Good. It's actually Falga. Now, one thing about getting the shapefiles is that before ever you can use the shapefiles from let's say the shapefiles of your project location on USGS, you must actually zip them. That means when you talk about shapefile in GIS, you don't really need the SHP file alone. You need the CPG, the DBF, the PROJ, the QMD, and then the SHX, right? Then the shapefile. Okay, this is the shapefile, and then this is the SHX. So when someone says, okay, send me shapefile, it doesn't necessarily mean just the SHP alone. So for us to have all of those other dependencies, should I call them that, good, for us to have all of those other supporting files of the shapefile, then we need to zip all of them into, let's say, a single file, and then we now upload the zip. So that's another thing you need to pay attention to. You don't just import the shapefile alone to USGS. You actually select all of them. So if you want to know how to do it, you actually will select all of them. Then you right click, and then maybe that's on your folder, right? On your folder, you right click, and then you say what, send to. Then you now say send compressed folder, right? Good. You now say compressed folder. It's actually very important we explain this part. When you have the compressed folder, you now have what, your files zipped into one folder. then we modified it to what Farga underscore USGS. So we just select Farga underscore USGS and then we click on open, right? You can see it has been uploaded. Good, it has been uploaded successfully. We can close. Now you will see that good, this actually defines your project area in terms of the geometry better than you just actually drawing some points, although you can actually get it if you know the boundary that is being covered by your area of interest. So now the next thing is for, we've actually taken enough time to explain that part of the video. The next thing is now for us, so these are the coordinates that actually bound the area, right? Good. So the next thing is now for us to check what the data set we want to download. So we are actually downloading what? Landsat imagery, right? So we come to Landsat, then let's say we are going with should we go with collection one? Collection one? No, let's go with collection two level one, right? Good. So collection two level one. Then we have what? Landsat 8 OLI collection two level one, right? Good. So now let's look at additional criteria. Now that depends on what you want. If you don't want to add any other criteria, you can just go directly to the result. And if you want to add some other criteria, you can click on what additional, let's add additional criteria. You can even see it's optional, right? Good. So, and if you have more than one data set, that means if you've actually selected more than one product, you can have them here to sieve the additional to add to sieve through to now add the additional criteria you want to add for each of the products, right? Good. So if you want to talk about the land cloud cover, you can just click on this, you indicate the percentage you want. Then there are so many things you can still do. The collection category, but if you don't want to make any correction there, you go straight to what? To results. Now under the results, good, it's been searched, right? You will now see imagery that covers your project area, let's say your area of choice as you've indicated, and how much of cloud cover they have. So you can see the results. These are the results. You have the different results being displayed, right? Good. So the first one is this. Then this is the, so now let's look at this icon that looks like a foot, right? Good. They say show footprint. Now what it does is that it helps you check if that particular image covers your location of choice or your project area or where you want it to be, right? Good. So that's what that helps you to do. So this actually covers. However, the cloud cover and maybe some other part of the image is not too clear, so we can still let that go. Then we can keep searching. That depends on your own preference, right? Good. So this is fairer, but let's still move. So I think we can actually go with let's see, this still covers that area, right? Good. It still covers, and this has a lower coverage of cloud, right? So please pay attention to the cloud cover and then how you can actually fix it under what the additional criteria, right? Because that's why you have the additional criteria. So let's say we are using this particular one. Now you can just click on what? Download options. Now under the download options, let's wait for it to load. Good. Now under the download options, if you want to download the product, which is like the imagery, you have about 1.14 gigabytes of data, right? Good. Now there's an option for you to download individual item, yeah, individual item on the bundle, on the product bundle. Now the essence of doing that is that it actually saves you the stress of maybe having a failed download and starting the download all over, and then it sometimes saves your data, right? Good. So let's say you want to download, you try to select the bands, right? Good. So we have like this 11th band. So we're having like from 1 to 11, if I'm not making a mistake. So you now select the number of bands you want to download. Maybe if you want to download 7 bands, you want to download all the 11, you want to download 5. So you can just click on download here. Now this icon actually signifies what download. You can see download product slash file, right? Good. So if you want to download band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4 down to band 11, you can just click on what download. We are not actually going to download on this video, but when you want to do that, you just click on what download and you will see it on your folder, right? Good. So upon doing all of that, another very important file you also need to download in all of your download is the good. We have the MTL, yeah, right, the MTL, yeah. You need to download this MTL file. It actually has the metadata, yeah. It actually has the metadata of this particular bundle, yeah, this um, particular product you want to download. So it's actually very important you also download that so that you know the raw part, you know the date of acquisition and some other information about the imagery you are downloading. So upon doing all of those, you are good to go. Then you can now move it to QGIS. So we are going to show you some imagery we've downloaded and how they appear on QGIS, right? Good. Good. So this is actually an example of what the different bands, as we've told you earlier. You can see we've actually downloaded for a separate file. We have band 1 to band 7, and we also have that MTL file. That file that actually talks about what the data set we've actually what downloaded. So what we are going to do now is that we are going to copy these 6, or let's say the 7 bands, and then open it on what? Open it on QGIS, right? Good. So we add that and we try to close. Good. So let's just zoom to there. Good. So this is how the imagery that you've downloaded it appears. Then you can now do a few modifications to have what your true color, right? Your true color composite or something. So this is how you download Landsat imagery from what USGS Earth Explorer, and the different bands you want to download, especially, and you also have what the metadata file, and this is also how you what import it to QGIS. So thanks for coming to class. If you have any problem, if you have any question, any suggestion, recommendation, you can leave it on the comment section and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if you have any tasks like this that you would have us help you, you can actually contact us and we'll also respond as soon as possible. So we are going to see you on the next video. Until then, keep staying safe and have a very good time. Bye.